Women don't friend zone men that they like, they friend zone men that they're using. Let me repeat that again. Women do not friend zone men that they like, they friend zone men that they are using.
Now, I wouldn't necessarily say women only friend zone guys they're using. It might just be that she thinks you're someone who's good enough to hang out with, but don't have the qualifications needed to get the cheeks. Still though, it doesn't change the fact that the friend zone is nothing more than a holding pin for guys until something better comes along. After which, they're probably not going to hear too much from the girl they were probably crushing on for years.
And they are using these men for attention. That's the number one thing. How do you actually know that you're being friend zoned? I'm going to tell you the top 4 ways that you know that you're in the friend zone. The first sign in knowing whether or not you've been friend zoned is if she treats you like a pen pal. And what I mean by this is that she texts you constantly for advice and makes the conversation about herself and lets you give her advice, but she never actively wants to hang out.
Being a guy who's been friend zoned in the past, I'm gonna see how much of what she says holds true in this video. And while I kind of agree with her first point, it's not necessarily the case that the girl in question isn't gonna want to spend time with you in person. The whole thing about giving advice is 100% accurate though, and it's usually the case that they never really take it on board. So what they're really looking for is just someone to listen to their drama. Gosh, I wish I had someone there back in the day who could have talked to me about this shit. But let's move on.
You're definitely friend zoned if she tells you something along the lines of making a pact that if you're not married by a certain age, then you'll marry each other. Yeah, you're friend zoned like a mofo.
This isn't something I've ever done, but I swear to God I've seen it on a TV show. And if I had to guess, it would have been Friends. In any case, if you've made some kind of deal like this with a woman, you should cut your losses now so you don't waste more time than you need to, holding out for something that's never gonna happen.
The third one is if she tells you all these great compliments about you and always hypes you up, but she's always trying to hook you up with somebody else, it's because you're friend zoned. So what that looks like is, oh, you're such a great guy, and then she lists all the things that are so great about you, but you're such a great guy for her friend Lindsay.
This one is probably one of the most common things a guy in the friend zone has heard. I know for sure I have. When I grew up though, and thought about things a little more, I realized how nonsensical the whole thing was. No one wins the lottery and hands the prize money over to someone else, talking about how it'll make them happy. If someone really thinks there's value in something, you can bet your ass that they're gonna want to keep it for themselves.
Number 4 seems pretty obvious, but if she gets mad at you for dating other people, but then if you break up with that person for her, she still won't date you. And all I'm going to say is that y'all know that I don't believe in the friend zone, but if you guys are going to try to keep yourselves there, just remember that this is because you lack boundaries, you lack self-respect, and you need to find it and get yourself out of these weird situations. Be intentional with your dating, be upfront about what you want, stop playing these games, because if you don't play the games, then you can't end up in the friend zone. Okay, bye.
I haven't experienced this myself, but I've definitely seen it play out in front of me. It was pretty funny. Because we were in a club at the time, a guy who'd been friend-zoned by some chick started dancing with 2 women he met. Lo and behold, the girl who friend-zoned him came over, broke that shit up, gave my boy hope, then went home with another dude. Honestly, it was pretty hilarious, but I would have been pissed. All in all though, she's pretty spot on with all this. So if you're a guy who's landed himself in the friend zone, do yourself a favor and make your exit now.
If your girlfriend has male friends, you're halfway finished. I don't care about women saying, oh, you're insecure, you just don't rate yourself, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You can sing that to the birds. I don't care. I'm not playing this game because you went to meet him. Why are you hugging him anyway? What's the need for you to hug your friends? You can say, oh, hi. Why do you need to physically embrace another man? Why do you want your body to touch another man and be close to another man? That's called cheating. That's a red flag. Dash everything she said. This girl is definitely single now because she said I'm meeting up with friends. The hell, you got a man. Composure, lads, composure. This is wild. These women are foul. And these are the women speaking on men's men.
This thing about male friends is something that women will always fight you on. But as guys, we know that other men are just waiting for the chance to clap some cheeks. It doesn't matter how long they've been friends for. Now, just because a woman has a guy friend, it doesn't mean she's gonna immediately let him hit after you get into your first fight. But having someone like that around does pose a risk to your relationship, and that's just a fact. It's even more sus if the guy friend in question is a coworker, because that situation can get messy and blurred very fast.
Is it bad to friend zone people or kind of kick them to the side once you realize the physical isn't what you expected?
Trip. Here's where it would be up. If you've put this person in the friend zone that you're not attracted to physically, so you can still have access to them without investing in them romantically, then yes, you're up.
No, I may be attracted to them physically, but when it comes down to like, I don't like the way they kiss my lips, top or bottom, I'm just not feeling the way they do it.
I mean for any reason.
Any reason, okay.
If you've relegated somebody to the friend zone for the sole purpose of still having access to them, you're up.
Okay.
If you know you don't rock with them like that, then go ahead and get them completely out the paint.
I agree with the guy, especially if a woman knows that he's looking for something more. At the same time though, it's up to the guy to walk away, just like when a woman's landed herself in a situationship but wants something more. While it'd be nice for the woman to cut a guy off who she's friend-zoned, we're all grown-ass adults and have the ability to make our own decisions. If you're not strong enough to walk away from a situation that's not beneficial to you, that's something that you're gonna have to work on, because at the end of the day, it's your responsibility.
I'm gonna hold your hand while I tell you this, but the guy friend that you think is so platonic, that you guys have been friends with for years, and he hasn't tried anything, and you can trust him, he absolutely is playing the waiting game. Like, he will 100% fold if you give him the opportunity. He will go for it. Most men are not friends with women if they can't get something out of it. Like, a lot of the times men are friends with women because they use us for that emotional vulnerability. They go to us, they can't go to their guy friends, so they use that part of us to vent, to rant, all that, right?
This is exactly what I was talking about earlier on in the video. And before someone comments saying that not all men are like that, or it's not something they do, I hear you. Of course, not everyone will act or react to something in the same way, but for the most part, a guy will smash if one of his female friends gives him the go-ahead, especially if he's not already in a relationship or anything like that. Guys will hang around in the friend zone for years, waiting for the day that something changes, and the girl he's been crushing on suddenly comes to realize how much she's actually in love with him. To any women who are perhaps listening to this, I know it sounds crazy, but men are not short of determination when it comes to holding out for something they really want.
But at the same time, they will play that waiting game. They'll be friends with mostly like pretty women. They're not gonna just be friends with a woman or talk to a woman if they don't find her attractive. So most men that you think are no attraction to you, don't have anything towards you, like low-key they do. They wouldn't waste their time hanging out with a girl that they did not find attractive. So they're holding out. If you give them that opportunity, they will 100% go for it. So just be very careful. Most of the time, these platonic guy friends are not just the guy friend. They're holding out for something more.
I haven't really looked into what she's saying or anything, but from my own experience, it makes sense that guys aren't really gonna hang out with women they don't find attractive on some level. This is a bit of a gray area because friends are created from all sorts of circumstances, so a guy's not always going to be besties with women who are attractive. In any case, the vast majority of friendships between men and women aren't real friendships at all. A lot of the time, it's just that the guy doesn't have the balls to make a move. And until he's able to overcome that hurdle, he'll find himself in the friend zone with various women until the end of time.
A lot of the time men friend zone themselves, they destabilize themselves. There'll be some men that you can't friend zone because they constantly remind you, not just that you're beautiful and you're great, but they remind you that there's some sexual interest in you. They might say to you, oh god damn, you look great today. Oh my god, he's a lucky man. They give you that signal that they find you sexually attractive. Friend zone men will either never say anything, or when they do say it, they say it the same way a woman would say a compliment, like I like your dress, or that your hair looks nice. They say the same things a female could have done. So what happens is they desexualize. I'm not saying you need to sexualize and become really perverted or anything, but this is just what happens with friendzone. And the other thing that friendzone men do is they spend too much time around women who are not showing physical interest in them. They're spending too much time investing in women who haven't signaled attraction to them. Men that avoid the friendzone is they gear themselves naturally towards women they can see are attracted to them. There's some level of mutual attraction.
I agree with her 100%. Men only end up in the friend zone because they don't have boundaries and they're too afraid to make a move. The thing she said about how a friend-zoned guy gives a compliment compared to a guy who's trying to clap cheeks sounds pretty damn accurate to me. When friend-zoned guys give women compliments, it never comes with that authority. The kind of authority that'll let a woman know that you're not about this whole friendship thing. And it's something that'll be done very early on. If men continue to play it safe with women because they don't want to risk offending someone or getting rejected, the friend zone will become your prison. But the thing about this prison is that you have the key, so you can escape whenever you want. Anyway, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And if you're someone who's in the friend zone right now, what's your next move?